Hey everyone, and welcome to this video series on integrating a Dialogflow AI assistant into a Magento 2 store. What to expect in this series? Are you looking to enhance customer engagement and streamline support in your Magento store? In this hands-on series, I will guide you through integrating Google Cloud's Dialogflow AI assistant into Magento 2, step by step. If you are new here, let me introduce myself. I'm Adam, a Magento Adobe Commerce developer with over 10 years of experience. I'm also a best-selling Udemy instructor. My goal is to help you grow in your career by sharing modern programming techniques and the latest innovations in the AI and e-commerce. Here is some bonus for the subscribers. From time to time, I'm also offering amazing deals on my Udemy courses and even completely free coding tutorials. So if you don't want to miss out on these great opportunities, it's definitely worth subscribing to my channel and hitting the notifications bell. Thank you so much. In the first episode, we will introduce the Dialogflow. So we will explore its features, set up Dialogflow Messenger and configure preset data stores. And in the upcoming episode, we will integrate this within the Magento 2 using extensions. So we will connect Dialogflow to Magento. So stay tuned and let's get started. Hello and welcome back. So in the previous lesson, we already created a Google Cloud account with the activation of the Dialogflow API, and after that we also configured the new agent with the agent builder, where we already uploaded the TXT document with some information about our stores, and with this information we already trained our AI. So AI has already collected some information about the stores, and we also uploaded here the documents with this process. And after that, within the Dialogflow CX, we already applied the Dialogflow Messenger, the text-based Dialogflow Messenger. We got this snippet, this code, and we will integrate this code into our Magento shop within this lesson. So let's get started. So here, first of all, let's create the extension. And this will be one dev chatbot. And within this extension, we will create the etc module XML. Where we will add the module name. This will be one dev chatbot. And here I will also implement the sequence, because actually this will be implemented on the product detail pages. So the sequence should be set here with the Magento catalog. So we already created the module XML. Let's create also the registration PHP, where we can register the extension. And here we simply adding the one dev chatbot as a component name and with the normal component registration process. So we already created the etc module XML and the registration PHP. So now let's create also the related templates for the chatbot and templates for the button, where we will place the button for the triggering of the chatbot extension. And after that, we will also create the layout XML. And here we will also create under the button folder, the chatbot interaction, where we will place the button. And now let's create also the catalog product view layout XML, where we will place the chatbot interaction HTML with the triggering of the chatbot extension, and where we will place later also the chatbot HTML with the chatbot script and also with the related view model. And we will place this chatbot triggering button between the product info extra hint reference container. And let's add the block name chatbot as a chatbot, and also with the related template. And later we will also place here the view model. And then let's run quickly the bin Magento setup upgrade for integrating this OneDev chatbot extension. So this should be the correct place, OneDev chatbot. And then run bin Magento setup upgrade. Then we will see the place where we will add the button for the chatbot triggering. And let's also add the chatbot HTML under the content reference container. So let's create a body tag. Actually, this will be placed here. Then let's create a reference container name content. And here let's add a block name chatbot script. with the template OneDev chatbot HTML. So this looks good already. Now let's prepare also the HTML. For the chatbot. So let's create the PHP tag. And here I already added the escaper and also the template block for the template. And then let's prepare the chatbot. So let's add the script type, text X Magento init, and here we will place the JavaScript under the OneDev chatbot extension, and this will be the chatbot. And within this JavaScript file, we will also initialize the chatbot with the configuration, and also we will add here the extra function for this chatbot. So, and here within this chatbot HTML, we will fetch the information from the view model, and the view model will fetch this information from the admin configuration area, and we will adjust this also with the project ID, agent ID, also the language code, chat title, bot image URL, also the placeholder text, and later we will also extend this with the current product SKU. So based on this SKU information, the AI can figure out which product should be handled, and then they will provide the information to the customer. So before we are continuing with the chatbot HTML, let's also prepare the view model and the system XML with the configuration. So probably let's start with the system XML under the etc admin HTML. And here let's create a new tab under the store configuration. And this will be the OneDev settings general tab. And here let's add a label. And then let's create a section for the chatbot. So we created a section for the OneDev chatbot settings. Add the separator class. And also the label, chatbot. And this will be placed under the tab OneDev settings. Also the resource. And this will be the Magento backend admin. So the section is created, and also let's add the group with the general configuration. This will be type text. And is setting the show in default and show in website and show in store. This is similar like by the section settings. And for the group also let's add the label, and this will be the chatbot settings. And then within this group let's create the field. So we will create the field for the enabling the chatbot, where the administrator can activate or deactivate this chatbot extension. And we will also create extra field for the project ID, and this project ID will be connected to the chatbot, and also one more field for the agent ID. And here the administrator can also type the Dialogflow agent ID. So for the activation, this can be also with the same sort order and the visibility of the different website and stores. Let's add the label, enable chatbot, and the source model. And this will be the Magento config model config source yes, no. So we have this field, and then let's create a second field for the project ID. And here let's add the label project ID, and also add the comment that enter the project ID. And let's create the last field for the agent ID. and also with the label agent ID, and add the comment like enter the Dialogflow agent ID. So we already created the system XML for the configuration with the new tab OneDev, and within this tab we created the section Chatbot with the related settings like enabling the chatbot or disabling the chatbot, and the field for the project ID and field for the agent ID. Let's quickly clean the cache and check this on the backend area. Under the store configuration, you will see the OneDev tab is created with the chatbot. And here we have these three settings. It looks fine. So now let's create the view model where we can fetch this information. So let's create the folder view model and then chatbot PHP. Let's use the strict type, and the namespace should be OneDev chatbot and view model. Let's create the class. Let's also use the Magento. Framework view element block argument interface. So and now first let's create a const with the OneDev chatbot settings general path, and this will be related to each configuration. OneDev chatbot settings / general. Then let's create a construct function. So let's create the first function where we check if the chatbot is enabled. Let's also add here the parameter store ID, set to null. And this will be the bool return type. And then let's also add the scope config interface. So let's use the Magento because it's needed for the configuration. Magento framework, app, config, and scope config interface. And also let's call this within the construct. Then let's add the return type. Scope config is set flag, where we will add two arguments. First the path, and this will be the XML path, and then let's add enabled, and the second is the scope interface. Let's also add this here. Use Magento, store, model, and then the scope interface. And then the scope store. And last but not least, the store ID. So with this, we already created the fetching the information from the configuration, if the chatbot extension is enabled or not. Let's also create the second function for the fetching the project ID. Get the project ID. And this will be the string return type. Where we can copy this one and then check the project ID. And instead of setting this, get value. And then let's place this here. And let's get also the agent ID. So we already prepared the view model with the fetching the information from the backend, like is enabled, get project ID, and get agent ID. So let's also continue with the HTML, where we can fetch this information and adding to the chatbot. So first of all, let's also add here the view model. Under the one dev, chatbot, view model, chatbot, and this will be our view model. And here actually we can call this view model from the block get view model, And for this, we will also adjust the layout XML. So here, let's also add the arguments. With the argument name view model, and this is located under rundev, chatbot, view model, and then chatbot. So, and we are calling this here within our chatbot HTML, and that means if the view model is enabled, is returning false, then we are returning actually nothing, so the chatbot will be not initialized on our product detail pages. And then let's continue with the script tag, where we will set the project ID, with the echo, and then we will use here escape HTML, and then view model get project ID, and the second is agent ID, and this information will be also come from the view model. So let's call here the view model and get agent ID. So we are already set the project ID and the agent ID. The language code can be set also. So in the script, you will see this is set as default as AN, but if you are using multi-stores with multi-languages, it's better to set the language code based on your store. So let's also extend our view model with the function where we can fetch language code. And for this, let's extend this with the local resolver from Magento. And this will be the local resolver. Let's add this here, private read-only local resolver, and this will be the local resolver variable. Get the language code. So because we would like to set this dynamically. And then we can use this local resolver get local function, and within this get local we will get the language code back. And for this, because actually for the Dialogflow we need only this an, but in general this local get local function is returning in the format, for example, this returning ANUS. So we will use the return type with the substring, where we are passing the local and then adding the offset 0 and then the length 2. That means actually that we will get the language part like this. AN from ANUS, for example, because this is the correct format for the Dialogflow. Or for example, DA, we will get back only the DA. And then we will also pass this back to the Dialogflow AI assistant. So now we can use the Chatbot HTML with the function escape HTML, and then view model get language code. And now this max query length, we can also add this here. And then the chat title. Can be set. So here I will use translatable string, but if you want you can also add this as a configuration, and you can fetch this via view model, and you can add this here if it's necessary or required. Let's add the escape HTML, and then, for example, chat assistant. And here let's also add this as a translatable string. Okay, so already created the basic for the AI Dialogflow chat assistant for the project ID, setting the project ID, agent ID, and the language code based on the actually store view, and the max query length from the Dialogflow snippet, and the chat title as a translatable string. So now we have this configuration, and let's create then the JavaScript.